Okay, we're just looking at a caching program for WordPress. Now, the idea of using a cache plugin is to basically speed up your website. Now, speeding up your website page loading times is really quite important on two aspects. The first, obviously, is just to website visitors coming onto your website, and they want that page to load as fast as it will possibly can for them. This basically enhances their user experience of your website. So the quicker it loads in their browser, the quicker they are going to, the happier they're going to be. Another aspect of using a caching program to speed up to your website is from the search engine point of view, particularly with Google. It is one of their key criterias on how they rank your website. The quicker the page load times, it's basically a box that's ticked. They will offer it up against other websites, and if you've got two websites offering similar content, the quickest one will be graded higher on the rankings. It can be. It's just one part of the sort of multiple chain of trying to sort of rank your website. So using the caching program can be quite a good idea. Now here I'm using a plugin called W3 Total Cache, which it's got a lot of settings in it. Now I've just loaded this on this morning and had a quick look, and I've only had to tick a few boxes. Basically, I've got my page cache enabled, and I've used the minify as well. Now that's basically if you've got a lot of CSS and JavaScript in your website blog. That kind of compresses that. So caching it kind of works as a compressor. So if you can imagine, if you've got lots of files and folders and you're trying to send them to a friend, and you zip them up to compress them and send, so therefore it reduces the amount of size that you need to send. That's exactly what a caching tool does. It kind of photographs all of that information on the page and the database, and it just creates a small HTML file, so it's just a lot quicker to load for the website visitors. So I've basically turned on page caching and this minify tool as well, and I've also enabled the database cache. So there's three big things there that I've been able to. It's got object cache already automatically, browser cache. So I've kind of turned on most caching facilities there in the general settings page. Also, I didn't really go into a lot of other options on here. As you can see all these options down here as well. So I kind of just followed what it said. When you turn things on, it likes you to just sort of set it, clear the browsing cache. And where it was up and running. So if I actually go to, I'm actually going to look inside the files and folders in my cPanel. If I go into the WP content folder and go into this newly created cache folder, which is created by the plugin, you can now see some more folders there. So if I actually go to the page enhanced and keep going, I can now see all the pages and posts on my blog which have been created with, and you can see that. So basically, there's the HTML file it's created for that page, and so that's what the user will actually be downloading. So I can actually, if I actually just download that index HTML there that it's created, let's just overwrite the one I did earlier, and just open that. As you can see, it's not actually on my website. You can see it there. It says File Home Office, which is my computer. So this is just a local file, but you can see how the snapshot actually works. So it is it is a page from the blog, but that's exactly what the user will actually get to download. So if I actually just go to the welcome page, and now this is cached now. So this is a cached version. So it is actually loading up a little bit quicker than it was before. So if I just click on the About Me page, and it's slightly faster, and there are lots of plugins out there which you can use. There are 5 or 6 different caching plugins as far as I can see. So you're welcome to try all of them and see which one works best for your website. Some I'm sure that some work better than others. The only warning I would say is if you're using a shop, and e-commerce, and you've got SSL turned on, you really must check after you've turned it on that you don't get SSL errors and you don't get template errors. So you can only do that by turning it on and just checking your website. Now what you can do is actually you should be able to go into the pages and into the settings, and actually somewhere in here should be somewhere to say don't cache these particular pages. So if I just click on the page cache there, somewhere in here, I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure you can say, look, don't, so here's some settings here, tick don't cache the front page. You can tell it to cache SSL or not. All these settings should be looked at and checked, before you sort of proceed. Just be very, very careful with these things, because they can work really, really well, but in some circumstances, they will upset your website, and it could be quite dangerous. So, and you will cause yourself a lot of grief. So you have to be particularly careful with these things. But like I say, end goal, especially if your server isn't that fast, and you've not paid a fortune for a decent server, that slows down your website an awful lot. So it won't rank as highly as other sites that are doing something similar to you if their pages open up in a millisecond and yours open up in 2 seconds. You're just not going to win. You're just not going to get right up to the top of Google. So all these permutations have to be brought into context and looked at. But it's a really important tool. I'd actually use it, but you've got to be prepared to put the hours in to make sure, especially if you're using HTTPS, that it's doing the job for you. So you can see there's an empty cache operation there. So you can always empty the cache in the plugin and start again. But take care. But it's really important, and it will help your website in the long run. So have a look at it, and if you get stuck, please contact me on the website, and we can always have a look together. Okay, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.